Lion, of course. Good afternoon, driver. You're running a stopping service to Sutton. However, this afternoon your duties will end at St Pancras Thameslink. Before departing, let passengers on. At least that's working on this one. So rear coupler. I need to change. Put the brakes on. That. Good. All passengers are on board. Proceed to St Pancras Thameslink, calling at all station stops en route. Driving a for some reason I saw the 70 and thought that was my speed limit. What a twit. Yeah, it's an excellent start, isn't it? Luton Airport Parkway is our first stop. No, there isn't any default scenarios. The next scenario is a workshop scenario. Wait for the right of way. Speed limit 85. Next station is Harpenden, 4.5 miles. Raptor, Class 319 on London Bedford. On our way into St Pancras. .4 to go. Thanks for the follow, Mucus. Much appreciated. If anyone here hasn't joined the Steam group for Train Sim Live, now's a good time to do that. The URL's on the social thing that pops up on the chat every now and again. Got about 200 members on there now. To change the code. Oh yeah, it's not a 4, is it? This is an 8 then. Coming into a 75. That's it, coming in now. Harpenden's coming up. Yes, thanks, Sir. Yeah, we're over 1400. In fact, we're well over 1400 now, which is scary. By the time we've finished saying how cool it is, we're at 1400. We'll be at 1500. Not complaining. I think it's awesome. Not sure what else to suggest, Lonely Developer, except maybe check to see if the coordinates are being trimmed or they're losing precision or something when you're copy pasting them. We have the time, let's let everybody get off. Cheers T-Kink, thanks for joining. Did you? No, I haven't seen your screenshots yet. Alright, off we go. Next station is St Albans, 4.7. Right, so we're on our way. St Albans is the destination. Down to 3.95 now. Got a green light. The wrong lights on. How are we doing now? Hello. Back in the cab, we're approaching the speed limit. Got an 80 limit coming up. Cheers, Darkness. Thanks for everything this evening. Just coming into St Albans now. .65 limit coming up. That's it. Yes, there's a preserved signal box there. Wow, BNSF, that's a lot of rain. There is something wrong with that destination board, you're right, there is. This one doesn't have the changeable destination boards, unfortunately. Try a different key combination. No. It has changed what destination was. I don't know what the key is. Next station is Radlett. Got a fair few stations to go. The key is either F12 or backspace. Very good, Fringe. Bob, I do use the zoom in key, and combination of zooming in and moving, to be honest. F12 takes a screenshot, or if you've got track IR, it causes it to recenter. I don't have a button like that. Oh, circle and a line on top. Yeah, I do have a button like that. That's marked my sharp fringe up button. Steam Trains, yeah, it's a Google Maps overlay application that I've written. Leaving the braking just a bit too late. Due in here in about 14 seconds. Good, given that we've stopped a bit early. It's better. No, you're not in R123456. In fact, if you go back to, I think the first time I ran this route on the stream, I did all the announcements. Next station is Elstree and Borehamwood. Yep, sort of on time-ish is pretty much basically the mantra for the for this one. Speed limit's 90, so we're good to carry on going. Have we been through Nebworth yet? No, there isn't a Nebworth on MML. Not yet, anyway. Am I going to run a scenario on East Moor South ever again after that other incident? Of course I am. That's a speed reduction warning. Shed action there. Mill Hill Broadway. Cheers, Fringe darling. Have a great weekend. Have I got my boiler, my firebox door shut? That's what I need to know. So it's 2 miles to Mill Hill Broadway. That's okay, JM. I'll forgive you. 11:30 we're due in, well 11 and 30 seconds we're due in. GWR, when will the Unreal Engine be implemented? Well, it's being implemented now. But when will it be released? No, I have no idea. If you mean, does it have the second man's view, then yeah. Conductor, if this train was running with a conductor, would be seated somewhere inside the train, somewhere in here. Right, Hendon, 2.3 miles. Cheers, 2503 Victor. Yeah, in the UK it's second man, if there's one in the cab. Cheers, Steve. It's the warning for the 60 drop. Since we're only doing 65. Kean Fenton, do I think some Train Sim DLC is overpriced? You're asking the wrong fella, dude. I work for the company that makes it all, so and to be honest, knowing what goes into making it, no, I don't think it's overpriced at all. Coming in for Hendon now. Kirkenstein, don't get why this route couldn't go to London Bridge. Then it would have linked up the South London Brighton route. The reason it didn't go to London Bridge is very simple. It would have added an enormous number of assets, and expensive assets that needed to be created. But yes, Danny has actually done the link as a workshop route. Benefit of which is, of course, there's no expectation on custom assets being created for it. You'd end up having to create the whole city. Any time to go. Hey, Andrew. Wait for the doors, that's the interlock. And it's time to go. Does it cost money to make assets? Well, yes, because someone's got to do it, and therefore that person needs paying. Put bluntly. Sorry, Ian. I'll go and have a look at that before I sign off tonight. But if I don't, feel free to send me another PM. Speed limit's 90, next station is Cricklewood, 1.4 miles. Ian drew some outside views. I can give you some outside views. The minute I go to an outside view, there goes the AWS. So no, I guess we can't have an outside view because we can't have nice things. I was in the TARDIS at Hendon. No, but I've seen the TARDIS at Chatham Dockyard. And the one at Crouch Tramway Museum. Well, the fancy setup doesn't make sounds happen. The game's responsible for sounds, and there's no visual indication of an AWS alarm. So we're not going to get great points at this station. I'm just going to stop there and everybody else can just figure out how they get off the train. Do these trains have a speed set? They might do. Don't ask me how you use it. BNSF, yes. If you're making a loco, you make all the 3D bits using 3ds Max. You make all of the colours, the textures, liveries using something like Photoshop. Apply one to the other, and then you need to do all the animation to make the wheels go round, and then you need to then do all the setup. Setup meaning physics, controls, yeah, all that stuff really. West Hampstead Thameslink is our next station. VHV skins, have you thought of making the track 3D? Yeah, you'll find some of the routes we've got 3D track. The big concern with 3D track is it's performance hog. So we don't do it because just because of that performance hog. We'd rather get more detail in the trains, more detail in the scenery. The 3D track does look good, but you'll miss the detail. If you can't put the detail in the scenery, then you'll miss that much more. And we want to make sure that all the add-ons work on a modest spec machine without having to go to anything fancy. Isle of Wight used 3D rails. But then it was basically single track most of the way, so no more than double track. No, I didn't see it. I'll have to look at it on the video later on, and I'll... JJ, so the problem with massively high quality assets is you're going to run into the memory problem, and then you're going to have a game which is unreliable. You need to work within the constraints of what TS 2015 and so forth can do, and wait for next generation one to take it further. I'll leave that there. BNSF, there isn't that much of a limit. You can go several hundred miles. I mean, how much more do you want to go? Most people haven't got time to drive that much length. Swedish boy, every time I go outside the AWS alarm goes off, so let's go outside the briefly. Go. Brief look outside. JJ, has DTG considered making longer routes and charging more? I don't know is the answer to that question, but I know from the feedback we get about having routes at $24.99, most people wouldn't want to pay more. Most people would rather pay less. So, what people actually want is a 300-mile route for $9.99, which obviously isn't going to happen. Coming up on Kentish Town now. Hey, Chris Chaffer 9, thanks for the follow, much appreciated. Just pulling into Kentish Town now. James Ivel, making something 64-bit is a much bigger job than it sounds. Mostly, even because it's not just code in the game itself, there's all sorts of third-party libraries, and they would all have to be updated as well, and they may not even be available anymore. You've got to remember how old the code base is. So, yeah, it's very tricky getting it up to 64-bit, and frankly, as I've said on a number of other things, much rather just use that time working on the next generation train sim, to be honest, rather than spending lots of time. I mean, it probably would break a whole load of things. You'd certainly have to spend thousands of hours retesting scenarios, and then it may well break stuff outside of that 3000 out of those scenarios, like community ones or workshop ones, and there's nothing we could do about that. Can't you just click the make 64-bit button? Well, yeah, hadn't thought of that. You might be able to. St. Pancras, we have reached you. Oh, absolutely, it's definitely the way you want to do new code, but if it's an old 32-bit code with loads of dependencies that are arcane, it's just not a good place to spend your time. Yeah, Joe, we care a lot about third-party stuff. We just don't want to. It's very after what happened with TS 2012, which was quite a bad experience until it got fixed, and then it was wonderful. Everybody is very, very cautious now. That is there any chance this could go horribly wrong like 2012 did? And if there is, then you just don't do it, because it's more. We'd rather do less and keep everyone with a stable, reliable game. Bottom line, I think. This is me talking, by the way. This is not Dovetail. This is not me at Dovetail. This is just me personally. ...2012 was a massive rewrite of the graphics engine, and that's where all the new lighting and shaders and so forth came in, and it added massive new features. So the rain effects, it added support for long American trains, it added proper lighting and shadowing. If you want to know what the difference is, switch the dynamic lighting off and switch the dynamic lighting on. That was basically the difference to pre-TS 2012 and post-TS 2012. That's basically what 2012 brought. But when it came out, it didn't work at all on Intel graphics cards, it transpired. It crashed horribly. There were all sorts of things that went wrong with it. It was horrific, it was horrible. And lots of lessons had to be learned there about just can't be that adventurous with it, because there was a lot of content then and there's a mega ton of content now. So people have invested a lot of time and money in the collections, and not just through Steam DLC. They've spent a lot of time and money on other things, and that's got to be taken into consideration. It's still important. Yeah, TS 2012 was when TSX mode first appeared, and it was TSX mode that had the problem. JJ, no one cares about Intel graphics, not for gaming. Well, people use them, and the problem is, though, the thing is, they worked before, so they need to work afterwards. That's the golden rule, is whatever worked before any changes needs to work after. Woohoo, we got 871, didn't quite make it to the 900. Right. Oh, and we got we got a CSX genset achievement. Okay. Fair enough. 493 gained because we already had a bunch of it. I already had a bunch of score on this one. Well, I say a bunch, not very much, about 300. Sorry, I'm just having a look at the chat and right, so what are we doing now? We are going to go over to the Pacific Surfliner.